Coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. You are now tuned in to the Sankofa Paradox with Ed D and Low Key, right here on ATL Underground Radio.
ATL, what's happening? Hope everybody's having a good day. Welcome to another show of Sankofa Paradox. I'm Ed D. You got the brother, Mr. Low Key, in the house, and the resident PhD, Dr. Funkenstein, right behind me. Also, we got DJ Neelock on the ones and twos, bringing you them hits and them good tunes. Hey, check it out. I don't have any real sports stuff for today. All I can say is, Falcons rise up. Let's get some good postseason acquisitions going. Let's make some moves so we can make this 2021 season a whole lot better than, the last 2 or 3 seasons.
It's more the same with them. They had the chance. They
Listen. When the Giants or the Jets do something big, then you can criticize. So, Mr. New York or the Buffalo Bills, until they do something big, I'm gonna need you to just stay out the conversation.
So I'm good. Buffalo Bills is all right.
Bills D's
are slow in the membrane, but the Bills are okay.
Bills D's.
Oh,
but
how about you go over there and rise down?
No, oh my God, did he say rise down? Hey man, give me a sound effect for the lame comment. I need some kind of. Give me that wah. Or give me some Scooby Doo. Give me some road something.
That's what it sounds like. Y'all seasons be looking.
Oh
like,
my gosh! But anyway, so no big sports stuff to talk about. So currently right now politically, United States government is still we are still in some turmoil. The orange guy got voted out, but we still rocking and reeling from those who want to still keep his flame burning. Currently in the news now, President Biden is being criticized for airstrikes on is it Iran, Syria, Iran? Somebody help me out. Syria, Iran.
I believe it's Iran. It might be. I'm not sure.
In Iran, airstrikes on Iran. And everybody's all up in arms trying to give him flack about it. He jumped the approval of Congress, or he should have consulted. Last time I checked, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but the president has powers to make military moves when not necessarily if he wants to, but if there's a need, and he doesn't have to consult Congress. The only thing he has to consult Congress is an official declaration of war. We're not declaring war on anybody. We just had to tighten some people up. You did,
It's an Iran-backed target in Syria.
Thank you. It's an Iranian-backed target in Syria. But we just had to tighten some people up and, pull some coattails and get some people together. It wasn't a whole, what's the problem? He's a president. He can make military moves. I don't get what the criticism is about. So, and the other thing politically I don't understand right now is why in the world we just had a whole, I think it's still going on, but a whole CPAC convention about keeping Trump, I guess, a viable candidate for 2024, I think it is. But why in the world? I mean, he shouldn't even still be relevant by 2024. I mean, by 2024, shouldn't he be about ready for a retirement home or something?
If they really wanted him to not be a viable candidate, then they would have convicted him during the impeachment trial. So all of that is just talk because you had your opportunity to do it and you did not.
Well, my thing is he had his opportunity to be president and it didn't go his way. Here it is. If you know who truly runs this country or who runs this world, to truly know that, please understand that the President of the United States is not a supreme, de facto, sovereign control or entity of control over this country. The President has bosses. The United States government has bosses all over it. The president just does not run every freaking thing. So to know that if that body of people wanted him to be president, guaranteed he would have been. And he's not. So that tells me you made too many freaking enemies. You ran your mouth too much. You said too much of the wrong stuff, and that group of people, probably some fairly rich people. Well, I guess rich wouldn't even be the word for them, the kind of money they got, but that group of people who truly pulled the strings, they decided to move on for you. So why are you still a viable candidate for 2024 when you didn't cut the mustard from 2016 to 2021? What's going on? I don't get it. You couldn't get it right the first time, so we're gonna give you a second chance to screw it up. What's going on?
My thing is that I wouldn't even talk about this dude anymore. I want to call our current president out on the shenanigans that he's currently doing. And what I mean by that is he ran on the political stance of, I'm going to forgive your student loans. Now that he's got in a seat where he's wanted to be, I'm only going to give you $10,000. Wait a minute. Hold on, bro. That ain't what you said. Yeah. Second of all, and then the reasoning he gave was, well, I'm not going to pay for the guy that went to the private institution where you could have went to this nice public institution over here. But even at the public institution, 10 G's is only going to cover 1 year or one semester, depending on the type of public institution you go to. So you gonna give him, you gonna help him with 1 year? That's what we doing?
Yeah.
Let's stop playing.
$10,000 for some schools, that's half a semester.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not even a whole semester.
I mean, if you God forbid you're in the sciences, that might only cover half of your books.
Yeah, because if you a science major, I don't care what school you're going to, you're gonna have a semester where every book gonna cost almost $300.
You see what I'm saying? So and people used to get mad at me all the time where I was like, listen, I don't want Trump in office, so I'm gonna vote against him, but I don't act like I'm not fully understanding what's going on, because that Biden is just Trump light. And now people are starting to see this, and this is the whole reason why I said we need to make sure that during these next 4 years we build our political party so that way we can hold our Democrats responsible, because this accountable. Excuse me, because this is what I foresee happening. Trump is going to come with his Patriot Party, and all the racists are going to.
What he's calling it now?
I believe that's what it's going to be called. But all the racists are going to leave the Republican Party and go over there. And then what's going to happen, if the Republicans are smart, they are going to target the black vote more than they've ever targeted before. And then you know what? I could see a mass exodus of black people from the Democratic Party going to the Republican Party, simply because the average black person is technically conservative at heart. It's just like, we can't mess with y'all because you're racist.
Now,
you understand?
two points to what you just said. Number one, I'm not gonna say Joe Biden is Trump like.
Yeah, he is.
That's a little extreme. I would say he is not
Trump
too many tiers up over Trump.
Okay.
But he is definitely, a lot classier, more intelligent. Definitely has a presidential aptitude that far exceeds Trump. He has tact. He's got the proper charm of a good politician and president. And, how about this now? Brace yourself. He actually knows how U.S. government works. How about this? So I'm definitely going to say he's Trump light. But, and then on my point number two is, I just forgot my point number two.
You spent so much time on the Trump light, I forgot.
You can't talk about that dude without it just sucking the intelligence right out your head. But I don't think, here we go. If indeed there's a split, and he takes his Patriot Party, which is going to be a large group of fairly racist white folk who used to be Republicans. Mm-hmm. As a black Republican now, how do you feel? Because you were a Republican, you was shouting Republican, 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 Republican. You was shouting Trump, 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 Trump. And now he's taken your party and split it. And now you can see all these people who used to stand shoulder to shoulder with, and they probably really want to say the N-word to you, but they might, be scared they might get their behind kicked or something. How do you feel now as a black Republican if there's a split? Because now you got to come back home.
No, you don't.
No.
Because
you
no, you don't.
Because
This
if you're a black Republican, now you got to come back. When I say come back home, is now you got to come back to the neighborhood. Now you got to come back to friends and family.
It's plenty of them that ain't never left the neighborhood though.
Well, you got to listen to what I'm telling you. When I say you got to come back home,
right?
If that split was to happen and he was to take the Patriot Party, that's going to be a large gathering of fairly racist former Republicans. Now you got to face the music as a black Republican to the tune of a million I told you so's, or thought you was doing something big being a Republican. You shouting all this Republican rhetoric. Now you see what we've been trying to tell you. That's what I'm talking when I say now you got to come home.
Well, let me say this. I believe his name is Michael Steele, if I'm not mistaken. Republicans like that weren't shouting "Go Trump." They were saying like these people are taking over our party.
Oh
right?
no!
So now wait. Let me finish.
Go Trump now.
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying that there are just a good number of Republicans that were saying these people have done a hostile takeover of our party. If they do this exodus, right, then they'll be like, now we can get back to the Republican values that we were all about in the first place. We've got rid of the cancer. Come back, or black people come over to a party that actually were the ones who really freed you from slavery. They can make that claim and it won't be false. Okay, come over to the party who actually but it's the truth. Come over to the party who actually has never promised you something and not come through. That would be true, right?
Wait a minute. Who have promised me it came through?
The Republican Party.
Wait, no. Back up.
I
was listening to y'all and I was being silent. I'm gonna say this real quick because I hear the argument. Black Republican, Black Democrat, Black moderate, Black conservative, Black progressive. I'm gonna say it to you like this: I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary.
There you go.
I'm about my people. I'm for my people. I love my people. I get high off my people. I protect my people. I live for my people. I die for my people. I am a revolutionary. We're not going to spend the last day of Black History Month, which is supposed to be ours, but it's constantly taken from us, to speak about a bigoted, racist,
facts,
highly unintelligent,
facts,
pink person
facts
that we call Captain Cheeto.
No, orange.
That we call Captain. That we call Captain. You got the pinkish orange burst.
Wow. Wait. So you saying I tore open a pack of yellow Starbursts and I pushed the pink and the orange together?
You got Captain Cheeto. You got 9 by 5. That's what you got.
Wow.
Because truth be told, what the Patriot Party is going to do is exactly what they've been doing all the time, all along. You had your 97% of your Republican Party, which is pink, that actually has 85% of its population of that 97% that is actually truly what you would consider far-right, conservative, or racist. Then those same people go ahead and put things into place that make sure that they mess up the inner cities, not just for poor blacks, not just for middle-class blacks, not just for rich blacks, but also for what you consider poor pink,
white trash.
what you consider to be Latino, what you could consider any other type of immigrant that is not European-based. Because that also is also considered what you would consider yellow.
What they do to the trailer park people be off the chain.
So
now wait, hold on. Now you got to go back to the point that made your hair stand up, which is why you started the I am a revolutionary.
I am a revolutionary.
The reason why you started is when he said that somebody promised us. He was saying that the Republican Party has never promised us something and haven't came through. That's when you started the I am revolutionary soliloquy.
Who is the promised people that gave this promise to?
He asking you that.
That's my point. They ain't never promised us nothing and not come
say,
through.
They
the
did
Democrats.
But is that to insinuate the Democratic Party
the Democrats
promised us something and didn't come through?
They promised.
Okay, so let's get one thing straight, huh? So politics is just that, politics. I do the best. I tell you what I want to tell you to push my agenda to make sure that I am taken care of, not the people.
My thing is, I need you to validate the statements you just made, because you said Republican Party has never promise us anything that haven't come through. Is that what you said?
Well, basically,
wait, is that what
no,
you
no,
said?
you're not. First of all, I was making a point, and I was getting to it.
They promised
That
me
he
40
came in.
acres and a mule.
Right.
That's my point.
And then Johnson came in and rescinded it.
But I'm saying, but
came in and rescinded it.
Johnson was not a part of the Republican Party. He was a part of the Dixiecrats, if I'm not mistaken.
He was part of the Democratic Party.
Thank you.
Oh, whoa.
Right? Part of the
Democratic Party.
But the promise was made by the Republican Party, which was Abraham Lincoln.
I understand that, but that Democratic Party is the party that stopped the promise.
The Democratic Party was the party that wanted slavery. They didn't want slavery to end.
The Republicans didn't fight to keep the promise either.
Well, hold on. That's not what I'm telling you. Is an argument that can be made. What your counter argument can also be made. But my point is, they wouldn't be lying if they said what I said, because technically it is true. What the Dixiecrats were the one that stopped the promise of the 40 acres and a mule. You can't say that the Republicans didn't come through, because they lost control when Lincoln was murdered.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, you
Assassinated, not murdered.
You said,
What's the difference between
assassination is a plot, and murder means it just can happen.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay, proper vocabulary. That's what I'm about to. That's another thing I'm about to hit on. Is you said Dixiecrats? That's not even a party. That's not a
It
thing.
was then.
It wasn't a party. It wasn't an official party.
Yes,
I mean, it was a party. It wasn't an official party. They were.
Okay. So if you
a
want to use the
slang
correct
term.
vocabulary, it was a sect of the Democratic Party.
Exactly.
They want to make sure
There
that
we go.
racism, because that's where the sons of Confederacy and the
There we
daughters of
go.
Confederacy rise from.
Right.
They're from that
There we
particular
go.
sect of the Democratic Party at that time. So let's go ahead and go back. Huh?
Well, real quick, by the way, if you listen, he said sect, S-E-C-T, but he from St. Louis, so it come out sect. He said sect.
That's St. Louis coming out. That's St. Louis
He didn't
coming
get the
out.
whole
Right now.
sect and T on there.
Hey, go drown in that muddy river.
Wow. In a muddy river? Yeah, dog.
Muddy River.
He want me to go hop in the Mississippi. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. He didn't say just drown. He said a muddy river. Yeah.
But he said sect.
Choke
Go
on
ahead,
that
go ahead.
mud.
So let's actually keep the focus on the people who have tried to help us.
Yeah.
Not so much of the people who we know, because actually some of those people have tried to help, but they are so outnumbered by the people that look like them that it's hard for them. And if they move too far to the left or right
They lose
to
out.
allow it to help us, they become a John Brown.
Yep.
If you don't know who John Brown is, look up John Brown.
I tell you who it is.
No, you need to tell him who it is now.
He was all about us. He was all about not having slaves. There was we'll call it an insurrection that took place, and he was killed because he was.
It wasn't insurrection. He wasn't trying to fight an insurrection.
Well, there was an uprising. I'm sorry, yeah, right.
He was-
uprising that
okay,
He started trying to take care and be about black folks, and he pretty much got his head blown off because he was outnumbered by was it the Confederate Army?
No. Okay. So John. Okay.
But that's what happened. I mean, essentially, that's what happened.
John Brown was
kind of
actually
a-
hung. He was actually executed.
Yeah, that's
He was
what
executed.
Yeah, executed.
So, a little history about John Brown. John Brown was a Kansas boy.
Quasi-abolitionist.
Him and his sons went on. Him and his sons and some other militiamen went on what you consider some people would call a holy war. They went around the United States, especially to the South, as abolitionists, freeing slaves and convincing slaves to have an uprising. The uprising was for them to free themselves and fight for their equality. So John Brown, Emperor, and a couple of other, and his sons, his sons, they went to Virginia, and they went and took over the fort at Harper's Ferry. Now, what happens? This is before the Civil War began. This is considered the start of the Civil War. What happened was you had the military at that time ran by Robert E. Lee, General Robert E. Lee. They went on and descended onto the fort. They attacked the fort. They killed his sons, and they captured him. Some people were able to escape, but not everybody. Emperor was a black slave. If you have not seen the movie Emperor, you need to watch it. He was a black slave that actually killed the slave overseer who beat his son to the end of his life. He went out and killed him and a couple other overseers, and then went on and they killed his wife. But he went on and became one of the leaders of John Brown's militia.
Did
They
he get away?
Well, he got away initially, but then he was eventually caught and hung. So let's be clear. When I say I am a revolutionary, I am speaking to the essence of Fred Hampton, Sr., Medgar Evers, Marcus Garvey, Toussaint. I'm not going to say his name because he's controversial, but Idi Amin.
Oh, you was about to say his other name?
No. Yeah, so
Okay.
What about
Nelson Mandela,
Gil
Malcolm
Scott?
X, and Emmett Till,
What about-
and Martin Luther King Jr.
What about Gil Scott-Heron?
Gil Scott Heron, we'll talk about him at a later date because that's a whole
But I'm
different...
just saying, but that's a revolutionary now.
But I can't say he's no more revolutionary than everybody else.
No, I didn't say he was no more. I said
Right.
he is one.
So Gil Scott
Well,
Heron
was
is
one.
well, you also had Granville T. Woods, Elijah McCoy, Garrett Morgan, George Washington Carver.
Revolution.
Frederick
These
Douglass.
are revolutionaries.
Frederick Douglass.
Frederick Douglass. We're going to talk about him a little bit more.
He
too.
was the most hardcore.
No, you
boy.
can't say that because you had others who did just as much.
No, I'm not saying. I'm
Yeah.
not. That doesn't take it away from them. But the speech that he gave on the 4th of July, to say that in that audience,
But you got to think about it like this.
Whoa.
though.
I feel you on that because he probably could have lost his life for that.
But no.
Facts.
You got to think about it. At this juncture, he had fought he had fought his slave master for over 3.5 to 5 hours to fight for his freedom, and then became an abolitionist himself. And then this is one thing that people don't understand. Our people, when you fight, people gain more respect
Yep.
than when you sit there and kowtow.
Yep.
Because they then have to teeter around you because they never know what you can do with the abilities and the things that you can actually cultivate. So I said again, I am a revolutionary. I said in the essence of Fred Hampton. If you don't know who Fred Hampton is, I implore you to look him up. Fred Hampton was assassinated at the age of 21 by the United States government.
21 years old.
Fred Hampton was the leader of the Chicago, Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. Fred Hampton, under the tutelage of Dr. Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, he actually started and brought forth prominent feeding programs in Chicago, Illinois, schools in Chicago, Illinois, clinics in Chicago, Illinois. He also brought together the Young Lords, which is a Latino gang in Chicago, Illinois, and the Sons of the Patriots, which was actually part, which we consider one of the Dixie sect of the Democratic Party in Chicago, Illinois. He got poor whites. He got Latinos and African Americans together in the inner city of Chicago to fight for what? A revolution. To show that, hey, these people are important too. He was able to galvanize the population in the inner city of Chicago, Illinois. And for that, Edgar Hoover. Edgar Hoover.
Edgar?
Hoover decided to have a counterintelligence set that actually was whole ploy was to undermine those in the African American community that could actually lead their people.
But how evil do you have to be as J. Edgar Hoover to say there's something wrong with this breakfast program? He's trying to indoctrinate these children, so we must come up with a counterintelligence program to go against and stop that.
The main thing that the evil of racist people or the evil of racist plotters or race haters or just folk that don't like black folk, the number one beacon of light they see is upward mobility. So anytime groups of black folks start doing something upward mobile for African Americans, they got to stop it. They got to shut it down. They infiltrate because there's always, I want to say what I want to say, but there's always some dumb Negroes that's going to take the sack of money. That's going to take the sack of money and run the program. It's always.
I'm not going to call Bill O'Neill dumb, and this is why. Bill O'Neill was in a rock between a rock and a hard place. He actually, in the discharge of being in the service of the FBI, helped the Black Panther Party. It just ultimately, he did not realize that the information he was feeding the FBI was going to be used to take out Fred Hampton.
No, he didn't know that because he said in his interview, when he walked through that room and he saw what happened, he realized that the information that he gave was used to go ahead and commit this raid, and it pissed him off. But the hardest part about that was he had to conceal it. He had to hide it because he couldn't speak on it. And it's messed up, but I want to look at the root of the problem. Why were you still in the car in the first place and joyriding it, which puts you in a situation where you were between the rock and a hard place, so you to be this informant in the first place.
So let me ask you a question real quick.
I don't
How
think
many of
that's
us
that
have never done
important.
that
Yeah, I was
dumb
about
in
to
our
say that.
youth?
You
Bill
can't say
O'Neal
that.
wasn't old. So how many of us didn't do something dumb in our youth?
I understand that, and you are absolutely right. But if I am between my rock and a hard place, and I am told that I need to become a member of this organization, and I need to snitch on this dude that's actually really riding for the people, I think I might have to take an L on that.
It's called personal perseverance, though.
I understand that, but that's still not cool. You understand what I'm saying?
You can't tell somebody in a situation like that you're not in to say that's not cool, because it's you care about your life and then the life of your immediate family before anybody else. If they come to you and say, I'm gonna kill your mama, your sister, your nephews, your nieces, and you, if you don't do this, you're gonna think hard about that. Mm-hmm. Now, you may be a strong, dynamic person that we all know and love. However, when a small fry comes into the picture, you don't know what you would do, because your principal job as a parent is to protect your children.
Because we can say a lot of things about that situation where, okay, maybe he could have gave him false information, but that same false information could have got, or maybe he wouldn't mind taking the L, but then you got people behind him like family members and, other kids and other things that would have taken the L. So he had to do what he had to do.
And not even that.
He couldn't even lie to him and be like...
Because the issue about that is, if you know anything about Bill O'Neal, he would have told you he wasn't the only informant in the Black Panther Party.
Oh, no.
And those other informants, because he was so close to Fred Hampton Sr., those other informants were watching Bill O'Neal the whole time.
Well, we understand that. But my point is, if I was to accept the logic that you just gave, then that means we could never do nothing. Because there's always going to be some type of counter insurgent situation trying to stop us from rising as one complete unit.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: if you really want to do it, be ready to give your life for it.
Okay, there it is.
That's because that's what they did. That's what these men did. Those 3 men gave their lives for it.
Well, I mean, what did Fred Hampton say? He said, "Am I going to die on a plane? No. Am I going to die on a train? No. I'm going to die for my people because I love my people."
And that's what happened. And then, but see, this is the issue. Because in the essence of Yeshua ben Yosef, Jesus Christ, who all people give praises to and pray to, what did he do? He died for his what?
People.
His people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you got men that have followed in the footsteps. They have died for their people. Because truth be told, if you want to think about the speech that Martin Luther King gave before he died, what did he say in his speech? He said, it is easy to pass a legislation to say that you're going to give civil rights. But it's not so easy to take the hate out of a man who wants to be racist. Yeah. It is easy to pass equal opportunity bills, but it's not so easy to actually energize the African American community by giving them equal and fair resources to persevere.
Because folks been hating for years and centuries. And unless there's a systemic change on the other side of this thing to where people start teaching their kids that just blindly hate, then that hate is always going to be there. But to other points you made, yes, we can get somewhere. Here's the thing. When you create a situation of change, as a leader of that situation, you've got to be man enough, you've got to be leader enough to watch the people around you and be able to know when it's time to make changes. If we were a consortium of black people in here right now doing things, and I'm the leader of it, DJ Nealot got programs, Mr. Low Key got programs, Dr. Funkenstein, you got programs. I'm watching all 3 of y'all at all times. And I'm going to know, because I'm going to be in tune to you enough to know when you start getting flaky on me. And in that instant, you get cut off and I bring in somebody else. Friend or foe, frat brother or not, LB or not, best friend or not, you know what? You can't handle this anymore. I got to get somebody else to do it. And that's kind of because every entity of black help we've had since the beginning, we have had infiltrators. And Malcolm X had infiltrators all over the Nation of Islam.
Well, see,
the Black Panther Party had infiltrators. The Civil Rights Movement had infiltrators. And it was easy to infiltrate the Civil Rights Movement in any of them because you could be black or white or Asian or anything else and still be a part of the Civil Rights Movement. Yeah. But it still did what it was supposed to do. But my thing is when you start your entity of change, you got to know who's around you. You got to know those people's temperaments, and you got to know how they ebb and flow. It's almost like being in a relationship with them. And then you got to be able to see, something ain't going right with you. You know what? I got to put you down here until I feel you got that right, because you've lost focus. You've lost your juice. You lost your energy. And, you have to be able to do that thing. We've been friends for years. I get it, but,
it's a whole different type of ball game.
Yeah, I get it, but you ain't flowing right now. So I need you to go down there and come back up.
He was head of
right.
security.
I get it.
That to me was wild. That's the perfect spot for him.
Yeah.
But think about
head
it like
of
this, though.
security.
But he used that to also fortify and protect
Oh, yeah.
the Black Panther Party. So that's the thing I tell people about the dynamics of Bill O'Neal. It's a person who was caught between rock and a hard place, who made money off the situation, because he made a lot of money off the situation, but then he did not count on the intrinsic dynamic of hate that certain people in the United States government have for our people. Because truth be told, let's understand, Special Agent Murtaugh from the Atlanta field office, he told you straight up, yes, we had a whole division dedicated to the counterintelligence and to the takedown of the civil rights leaders and movement. Yeah. He said it clearly. He came on national TV and said, yes, we have this. Yes, I met with J. Edgar Hoover, and he told me straight up, if I have morals and principles, the FBI is not for me. Mm-hmm. He told that to somebody who looked like him. Your morals and principles are not needed in the FBI. You do what I tell you to do.
You also have to understand counter intel and espionage. It is only because I've had some training. It's not difficult to get close to somebody. Amongst a large group of people, it doesn't take much. It's hard to get close to people in small groups. When you got large groups like Nations of Islam, when you got large groups like Civil Rights Movement, like Panthers, when you got large groups, whatever group you can think of, it's not. You can put the right kind of espionage agents in the Republican Party and rip it apart. Sometimes I think that it has been done. Because there is no way in the world you could tell me that people rationally support Donald Trump. There's no rational in that anywhere. But due to the right kind of placement of agents of espionage who are constantly moving information and setting narratives and changing narratives, and weak-minded people, look at I'm gonna give it back to you. Hold on. Look at a lot of black folk. Look at Herman Cain. Herman Cain, it was done to him. Herman Cain ain't stupid. Herman Cain is a big-time businessman. Herman Cain ain't treated on his wife, but guess what happened? He started gaining steam. Even though 999 was a bit of a shot in the dark, it kind of made sense a little bit. But at the same time, they didn't want Herman Cain. So what happened? They found some weak-minded people. They said what they needed to say to them. It's amazing what you can do with weak-minded people, a little bit of money, and self-hate, and then other kinds of hate. Because Herman Cain ain't cheated on his wife. Now, if like most men, when Herman Cain met the woman who became his wife, he probably wasn't totally faithful to her for a bit of time before they were married. But it's amazing what you can do with a timeline and weak-minded people. And that's how they took down Herman Cain. That's how they took down Bill Clinton. Hell, his friends got him because they knew he was weak on vagina. That girl was tailor-made for him. And they slid her right in and he bit it. It's what happens. It's what people do.
This is the principal thing that we need to understand. Fear has stopped us from truly fighting.
Yep.
They have taken away men that can not just galvanize a particular area or a particular ethnicity. They took away men that could galvanize people, period. Mm-hmm. Across color lines to oppressors. That is the most dangerous type of person. Mm-hmm. Now, you have people of different type of philosophies. Malcolm, by any means necessary. Fred Hampton, I protect my people, I love my people, I'm going to die for my people. Martin, we shall overcome non-violent. However, I understand that I can't pull up my bootstraps if you made sure I didn't have no boots. So they took these people out because they galvanized the world. They became symbols for the world. They became a battle cry for the world. But those who I'm going to keep it simple. Oppressors make valuable commodities off the oppressed. Oppressors make sure that the oppressed want to be like them, so they are willing to step on each other to get to the status that where they can feel a semblance of what they feel, that semblance of power. So they step on each other. So they are able to get these people who want to feel accepted to actually go against the grain of what's in their best interest in order to rise above oppression.
You mean the NFL? Okay, go ahead.
Well, we can talk about that too.
Yeah.
Why can we talk about that?
That's another show there, but all right.
But
it goes along the line.
you're right.
But I'm going to mention two people from the NFL. Two people, current people. Colin Kaepernick and Deshaun Watson. Why am I mentioning those two people? Because Colin Kaepernick knelt so Deshaun Watson can fight.
Yep.
And what's happening right now? Deshaun Watson, he was like, you hired a black coach? Yeah, cool. Y'all reached out to me, yeah, cool. I don't want to be here. Because the moment you say that you can't allow the inmates to run the prison, that means in your mind I am an inmate. Yeah. But I can swear I'm worth over $100 million. But you want to still treat me like an oppressed person. So guess what? You got it. I'll go somewhere else where somebody will value not just me as a player, but also the color of my skin and the things that I can actually put out there for the people.
Because he's not the $100 million slave. That's why.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But also, side note, I can't wait until next season to see him either not show up or show up and stand there or even take a knee for the whole practice.
Woo!
Now that would be
Because he told him straight up, oh, I ain't playing for you all anymore.
That would be awesome. I wish he could hear this broadcast and be like, hey, Deshaun, just show up fully dressed, football in hand, and I would stand there in the middle of the field in the corner of the end zone of the practice field.
Like you see that movie Wildcats?
Yeah.
That old school movie?
Yeah.
Big Finch? He like, oh, I ain't playing unless they pay me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll
take a knee to
I'll
whole
take a knee.
practice.
Y'all sit there. You know what? I'll stand out there and just look stupid. So the thing about that is, I could care less about the Texans, but I do care about the statement Deshaun Watson is making.
Yep.
He let them know straight up, it ain't happening.
I ain't fooling with you.
And this ain't no 32-year-old quarterback. Nope. This is a 25, 26-year-old quarterback who is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL who actually shined even though his team lost. And it wasn't that they lost because of him.
He do got the juice.
He was like, all right, I'm going to throw this 80-yard touchdown. Hey, defense, just hold him. Defense, you didn't hold him.
No.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw this 60-yard touchdown. All right, defense, just hold. Defense didn't hold him. And so everybody's like, so wait, let's get this straight. But it's about the respect. Because remember, when he was drafted, what happened? Oh, he's frail. Oh, he don't.
They did try that, didn't they?
Oh, we don't know about his decision making. Fool, this dude tore apart Alabama.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah, he did.
They won one, they lost one. They didn't lose the other one because
he's a black quarterback.
Right.
Smart.
And then you draft Mitchell Trubisky. How'd that work out?
Mitchell Trubisky.
Wait. And then you draft Sam Darnold over Lamar Jackson. How'd that work out?
Yeah, how boneheaded was that?
Like, how those things work out?
He's a running back. He's not a quarterback. He's a running back.
Wait. You drafted Baker Mayfield over Lamar Jackson.
Listen. You can't fault him for trying to find a great white hope.
They weren't even great.
That's the
like Trevor Lawrence. You may have a slight argument with.
About the Ken doll.
Yes. Andrew Luck, because these dudes were good.
Well, first of all, Andrew Luck was trill.
As I'm saying, Andrew Luck. You may have an argument, but Baker Mayfield, who couldn't start, he had to transfer to start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he transferred. Remember, you couldn't play where you was at. So you transferred. Lincoln Riley made something out of you at Oklahoma.
He's sensitive too. He
I
need
mean,
a hug or something.
But think about it. They were talking about cutting you last year. But that's when you drafted over Lamar Jackson, who won his Heisman Trophy as a sophomore.
Yep.
You ain't never seen nothing like this dude. Never. Never. He is the quarterback equivalent to Calvin Johnson. Yeah. You've never seen nothing like Calvin Johnson. Never seen nothing like Megatron. Never.
Or Mike Vick.
No.
Mike Vick was the first of his kind when he came into
he wasn't the first of his kind. You had a couple other people that was like Mike. They were black quarterbacks.
Well,
Joe Gilliam. Joe
Right.
Gilliam was like, but see, you don't know about Joe Gilliam. Why?
I get you, but those dudes weren't as fast as. And if
Joe Gilliam was.
Joe Gilliam was?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know about Joe Gilliam.
Oh, Willie Thrower. See, I'm going back now. Willie Thrower.
Wait, hold on.
Way
Mr.
back.
Low-Key, answer me this question. Because he said those dudes wasn't as fast. I don't know. Randall Cunningham was
Randall
kinda
Cunningham
fast.
was not as fast.
When he was playing for them Eagles, he was fast, bruh.
Randall Cunningham was a state champion.
Yes.
And he
What are you talking about?
ran track and college. See, that's the thing, though. But it wasn't accepted. Why?
Well, we know
He was
why.
something different.
Yeah.
He was. People keep forgetting. Randall had the Eagles winning. The Eagles were winning.
Yeah, he did.
Like, it wasn't until he got popped by Lawrence Taylor that he kind of shook the foundations of learning. And then he got popped by, Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
The Samurai cut him in half. He wasn't right for the next couple years.
I saw both of those hits.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But you don't know how fast Warren Moon was.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Like,
I was about to bring it up too.
And what about
yeah,
Steve Aaron McNair?
Yeah.
Like, that dude wasn't
Steve
slow
Aaron
either.
was fast. That dude was just a monster.
Yeah, he was big,
Man,
strong.
he was a monster. Like Steve McNair, he wasn't fast. He was just gonna truck you.
Yeah, he was strong as hell.
Right. He was gonna drag you and your team with your mama and your cousins to the end zone.
True.
While you look at man.
He didn't have a canister on. He had a rocket ship.
I was about to say, that man's arm was crazy.
Man, that's why they call him, but the crazy thing is about it, Steve McNair started his freshman year at Alcorn State University. You know who he took his job from? His older brother.
That's funny.
Like his older brother was starting quarterback. They were losing the game. They was like, look, man, we're gonna put your little brother in. We already losing 48-3.
He went out there and lit
He
it
went
up.
out there and they won 57 to like the 48.
Yeah.
Like they was like, this dude just threw like 9 touchdowns.
He could fling it too.
Because you got
to watch some of the Alcorn.
You at
tape.
Alcorn State University, right? At that time, the Houston Oilers went to Lorman Bugs, big Lords. They look like you and me, and they sit there and cheer and wonder why you in their space.
Right.
They went to Lorman, Mississippi to find him and draft him 4 overall.
Yeah.
People keep forgetting that. He was drafted the 4th overall pick. And then, not only was he drafted 4th overall, he lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
People keep forgetting that. He lived up to the hype.
And let me also say this, because I have a problem in NFL and HBCUs right now, but they also had to go see him because he was that awesome of a talent. He wasn't mediocre. He wasn't middle of the road.
Nope.
He wasn't just this kind of good. No, this some bitch was awesome.
What's the problem that you're talking about?
Because in my opinion, from what I see, and I'll preface it. Well, I'll give us. Hold on. Well, the year that what's the dude from Alabama, running back from Alabama, that got the Heisman? Ingram. Is that Ingram?
Mark Ingram.
The year that Mark Ingram won the Heisman, I knew, and I'm probably talking out the side of my neck right now, but I'll just say, I think Howard. I think Jackson State. And maybe another HBCU running back had comparable numbers to his.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
why is it that they weren't even in the running? Now my problem is that the NFL goes to HBCUs either on an accident, it's definitely not on the schedule. And I'll say what I mean by accident, but they either go on the accident or they go because the talent is just that freaking raw.
It's Jerry Rice, Walter Payton.
Exactly.
Right,
Jerry Rice,
right.
Walter Payton, Aaron McNair. Now, what I mean by accident, okay, my mama's sick. I'm going to be in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, take care of her. She getting on my nerves, say I got to get out of the house, and I'm driving around and get away from mama. I kind of have up on this football game. Alcorn playing Jackson State. Found a running back, quarterback, a cornerback, and a lineman on accident. But they definitely don't plan. But that's why I say, all HBCUs should be SWAC or MEAC. Get rid of these little penny ante behind conferences. SWAC, MEAC, and the SWAC and the MEAC need to be FCS, D1, or D2 schools.
Okay, so
I'm about to say that's
all
happening
of them.
because UCLA just scheduled HBCUs.
And I got a problem with that because that's same reason why that boy's in that wheelchair now from Southern, because they shouldn't have been on the field with Georgia. That boy got his life ruined for a couple $100,000 for Southern, but they should have been on the field with him.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this.
They
though.
rigged. They booked those games for practice.
Okay, so
Not no
I'm
real
gonna say
game.
this. Yeah, they tried to Appalachian State and look what happened. So
Well, that was one case out of many.
that's the thing, though.
They shouldn't have been on the field.
That's the thing. But the thing is, Deion is changing the game.
I'm
now.
about to say,
I hope so.
No, ain't hope.
Ain't
hope. He
It's
changed that
happening.
game.
Well,
Deion said, "Hey, Florida State, yeah. Hey, bro, look, you the number 3 overall ranked running back. Come play for me. Hall of Fame." Because it's the thing. What other college coaches can really say that?
I
Like that's something he has. Like
and you got Warren Sapp for a defensive
Yeah,
coordinator.
And you got T.O. for your wide receivers.
like what you
Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Like
Agree
and so
with
what's gonna happen is majority colleges, high level colleges, gonna start trying to come back there and say like, hey Peyton, come coach for us. Now Peyton gonna be like, nah, bro, I got a TV show. I'm good. I mean, but that's what they're gonna have to do now because they like you can't compete with that staff that Deion has.
And I get you, and that's only one school. But see,
But that's
I
how
dream
it
a day.
starts.
I dream a day when FAMU plays USC for the national championship, or
They're not gonna let it happen.
Howard plays Penn State for the national
That's not
championship.
gonna happen.
And I don't see why it can't be that.
But because I'm gonna tell you why. You get the Power 5 controls the BCS, so they're not going to take the chance of losing out on hundreds of millions of dollars to let somebody who can beat them come up there and show them.
Because you know for a fact, if our top athletes went to our HBCUs,
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
hold on. Just picture it like this: the last ranking had Alabama #1, Clemson 3rd. Who was
Yeah.
second? Who was the top 5 in the last ranking?
It was Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State.
All white schools, all right. So guaranteed, if our top African American athletes went to HBCUs, next time you see the ranking, it's gonna say FAMU, Howard, Alcoa, and the rest of them
No, it's
gonna be
not.
at the bottom.
No, it's
I mean, it's possible though. That's what I'm talking about.
The reason I'm saying it's not possible because
Shit.
again, you got the same people that don't look like us
You talking about
who
who running the
control
show, who controls that.
They
don't even have a
they
real
control
playoff.
what bowl game you go to.
Right.
They control who sees you.
You can't play yourself into that.
Okay, think about it. SC has its own television network, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the televisions actually negotiate with those conferences for the TV rights.
So you telling me if the SWAC and MEAC became D1 conferences that competed against those schools we just named in that ranking, that they couldn't get into the negotiations for TV rights?
No.
What would have to
cut them out.
happen?
So
what would
wait,
have
so-
to
Wait,
happen?
Wait. Now
Wait,
I'm
hold
gonna
on.
tell you, Disney might do it, which is ESPN and all that. This
is my point. What would have to happen is they would have to take an alternative approach to create an alternative. Okay, just like how the AFL was the alternative to the NFL, and the NFL was like, "Yo, we losing way too much money with this," and then they went and absorbed the AFL into.
But see,
them.
I don't want us absorbed.
Okay, no, I understand that, but what
Yeah.
I'm saying to you is, you would have to go. Say you went to ESPN and you have all HBCU games covered by ESPN Plus. You know how many black people this was gonna go and buy ESPN Plus now? Okay,
course.
so now you got all of
Well, I
these
get two
games on
subscriptions.
ESPN Plus. So now you have the NFL teams. They got the television exposure, so you don't have to go to Notre Dame and deal with the racism that you're gonna deal with over there because they're like, you're only here because you're a football player, right? Now, people are gonna go from HBCUs to the NFL, and you don't have to be Denzel's son for it to happen, or you don't have to be Steve Air McNair for it to happen, right?
He's outstanding. Matter of fact, he's an outstanding actor though.
Oh, no, he's a great
John
actor.
JD. That dude,
great actor.
Yeah, he's a
like,
great actor, yeah.
I
He's a great
didn't
actor.
think it was gonna happen like that, but he
I figured he would get into television and film. I didn't.
Not
'cause
like
I
that,
saw him
though.
play at Morehouse. He was a decent running back.
No, he was a great
He was
running
a
back.
great running
What?
back. That's how he made it to the NFL, bro.
Listen,
Okay.
listen,
We're not
listen.
gonna get into that, but okay.
The few times I actually saw a Morehouse football team win,
He was on-
he was running the ball, looking like a makeshift Barry Sanders. I was like, what is happening
He's
here?
very makeshift though.
like
Because Barry said that's kind of a very, very high bar, man.
Yeah.
But all I'm gonna say is this. I'm gonna say this. In order for them to truly happen, you gotta understand something. What allows them Power 5 schools to be Power 5 is their alumni base.
Yep.
We barely want to pay $20 at our game. These fools would pay $10,000 to sit on the 5th row.
Hold on, the student seats, and this I know this because I got my doctoral degree, was $107.
We not trying to
Okay.
pay $20.
The guest seat was $60. I was like, what?
We trying to find the freedom.
$160.
We're trying to find the freedom.
Right.
We have to change that
But
mentality.
we're not, because we don't have the resources to change that
We don't have the
mentality.
money for that, bro.
Think about it. I'm not gonna pay $10,000 for my seat when I got a car note. It's not happening, or I got a mortgage. It's just that's a luxury. Now mind you, we do what we want to do with our money.
How about
Now
that?
the way it
But
can be flipped,
we ain't doing that type of thing.
but now the way it can be flipped is for all of us to become alumni givers. If those of us that can afford $50 or $20, give $50 and $20. Those of us that can afford to give $10,000, you give $10,000. The point is, if we all
you got too many.
gave.
Too many people got too many HBCU PTSD.
Yeah.
They got visions. They still have nightmares about financial aid.
You lost my check.
They got financial aid about standing in that 30-hour long line to register.
But the point is,
Ain't no but.
No, because it's all about grassroots. If we support them and fund them, then that 30-hour line would turn into a 2-hour line because they would have the resources to properly fix the problem.
Actually, something like that, they have the resources.
They do.
Black schools just feel like this is a part of your matriculation.
This is part of your learning. It's a part of your patience.
All of them don't
is
have those
bull.
type of resources. Let's be real.
I mean, no.
Like my first year at Morehouse was the first year that they actually employed those resources. So I was thankful at the fact that my second year was, because I just got through the line quick because I was there early.
I remember when we had to do it out the
But
catalog.
the point of the matter is, so, like certain schools didn't have that though.
I did.
I didn't. I had somebody to help me.
Certain schools don't have that type of money.
They don't. But guess what? That part is what you're talking about, the grassroots.
Right.
And it can't come from alumni because you don't have enough alumni to have that type of prowess. It has to come from your LeBron James. It has to come from your T.I. It has to come from your Oprah, the people that are actually giving your Bill the Thrill.
We need
I
to
don't
get
know if I
T.I.
agree with
honorary
that.
degree from
Huh?
Miles.
I don't know if I agree with that. Why can't it come from the like if each class
know
is
about
graduating
that.
800 people, 800 people giving $100?
Let me explain something to you so you can have a clear understanding. Where you got your PhD from, after their second game,
Their bills
that
paid.
school year is paid for.
Yeah.
Well, I got you on that.
So we're not raising that type of money grassroots wise.
But what I'm saying is, if 800
Unless
of
we're running
us,
for a presidential campaign.
let's say for example, if the class of 07, right? Because that was my class. If we all gave $100, that's $80,000 a year coming from just the class of 07.
But
What
they
about
got
the class
to be
of
in the
06,
position.
the class of 05. If you got $80,000 coming from each of those classes,
But that also comes with trust.
okay. Well,
Everybody
yeah.
don't trust that money is going to be put to good use.
Well, can't argue with you there.
So that's the thing about that. It comes with trust. We do not trust as alumni our HBCUs because of the HBCU PTSD that we go through.
Yeah, can't argue with you there.
However, those people that I named did not go there. They do not have that HBCU PTSD. If they give on a large scale, that if Patrick Mahomes gave $1 million a year, he will still have $1 million a year. I'm just being real. My man's worth $500 million now.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? If he give $1 million a year, he ain't living to be 500 years old. That's not me. I know modern technology may change, but
I got you.
I mean, if you're gonna cut his head off, put on somebody else's
I
body.
was just
hey.
about to say that.
The reason I said it because they're doing it in China, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. But listen, we have definitely gone off on a huge tangent right now. So we're going to let Mr. Low-Key tell you what we're going to talk about. We're going to take a quick break, do our artist industry spotlight for the week, and we're going to come back and hit these topics. So, Mr. Low-Key, go ahead and hit him over the head right fast.
So, wait, what did you just say?
Hit him over the head right fast.
Oh, okay, you talking about the information.
With the yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
What in the world? Wow. When you can't speak Ebonics to another black person, what's going on?
Wow.
All right, so this is a heartfelt subject because it affects us all. And everybody, other races say it doesn't affect. Yes, it does. It affects us all. Because I'm going to give you a scenario real quick. Lil DeAndre. Lil DeAndre is from the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, growing up in Bowen Homes. Lil Andre's house does not necessarily always have food in the refrigerator. Mama's working 2 jobs plus a side hustle, but she has to pay to try to keep the roof over y'all head and the lights on so that you can read when you come home from kindergarten. Little DeAndre gets older. Little DeAndre gets qualified as special ed. Why? Because little DeAndre can barely read because lights keep getting cut off. So he can't read in the dark. Teachers feel like that since little DeAndre's mom cannot show up every day, or she can't come to the school because she's working, that she's a bad mom. So that teacher, Miss Rebecca Strongstrom, who we call Becky, decides to just ignore little DeAndre. And she puts in little DeAndre file that he's unmotivated and can't learn. So every time, and he's a behavior problem. But she didn't realize little DeAndre just hungry every day because they barely can get food. Little DeAndre goes matriculating through his elementary school career with a file, but little DeAndre never really learned how to read past the second grade. Little DeAndre is now in the 6th grade. Little DeAndre reads on a 2nd grade level, but little DeAndre has 6th grade math and reading that he has to do. Little DeAndre is upset because he doesn't want to be embarrassed in the classroom because he can't read, because he can't read the books. He can't do the work. So they just passed little DeAndre through so that because if they tried to make him do something, little DeAndre acts a fool. Little DeAndre is now a sophomore in high school. He just turned 16 because he's a freshman. He turned 16 because he got held back twice. Little DeAndre drops out of high school at 16. Little DeAndre now is running the streets. But mom's still working 2 jobs, but they still have no food in the refrigerator. So Cortez comes with little DeAndre and says, look, man, I got you. I'll take care of you. Move this from point A to point B, and when you see these people come over, you go and hand them this, and I'll take care of you. Cortez asked little DeAndre to look. He said, hey, look, man, we need some more money to fund our enterprise. Miss Nordstrom decides to go to Walmart. Little DeAndre sees Miss Nordstrom and doesn't recognize her. Little DeAndre robs Miss Nordstrom because he needed that car. Little DeAndre, Miss Nordstrom decides to get up and call little DeAndre the N-word. Little DeAndre shoots Miss Nordstrom. Miss Nordstrom's fighting for her life in Grady, but her family upset because she went to Grady instead of sending her to North Side. But that was the closest because Miss Nordstrom decided to go to Walmart and off of MLK because that's what she was getting. She had to get off the highway and she did pick something up for her sister's baby shower. But now she's in Grady Hospital fighting for her life because she was shot by little DeAndre. Little DeAndre goes on a spree now because he's running from the police. Little DeAndre, in a standoff, ends up shooting 4 people. He ends up shooting Emilio. He ends up shooting JoJo. He ends up shooting Bartholomew. And he ends up shooting Candy. They now just caught Lil DeAndre. Lil DeAndre's now been put on trial. Lil DeAndre now gets 20 years for each charge. Lil DeAndre will now spend 100 years in prison because it's running consecutively and not concurrent. Candy, Bartholomew, Emilio, and Miss Nordstrom would all be living today if they decided to make sure that Lil DeAndre had food in the refrigerator. And his mom didn't have to work 2 jobs because they gave her a fair wage at the job that she was working. So mom can now show up to school. He has lights, so he learned how to read. So he didn't feel that he was less than. So he was able to read past 2nd grade. He was able to read on his grade level. He was able to get his work done. He decided not to drop out of school because he wanted to play baseball, because he was able to afford to be on the Little League baseball team. He was now able to go ahead and graduate high school. Now little DeAndre goes to Georgia Tech, majoring in electrical engineering. Now DeAndre now works for NASA. That's the difference between being a productive member of society and somebody that spends 100 years in jail. Somebody decided to give you the resource, your family the resource in order to improve their position in their place so that you can eat and actually be able to learn. I am a revolutionary because being a revolutionary means that I fight for my people, my students, my kids, my small fries to have the opportunity to be able to excel. I fight to make sure that they're treated fairly and equally in all systems, which includes education. I fight to make sure that their mom is able to make sure they have a male role model around him to make sure he understands what being a man is. I make sure that his friends who are around him, who actually ride for him, that they are actually being a positive influence because I'm being a positive influence to them. Because the government gave us subsidies that allow us to actually open up programs in the inner city and community centers to actually help kids get what you consider job prepared, work ready, skills based. These are the things that a revolutionary fights for. These are the things that the revolution actually thinks about. These are the things that gets a revolutionary killed. R.I.P. Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King Jr., El-Haj Malik Shabazz, also known as Malcolm X, Desmond Toussaint, Marcus Garvey, Elijah McCoy, Granville T. Woods, George Washington Carver, W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Garrett Morgan, Emmett Till, Medgar Evers, Nelson Mandela, Prince Hall, Crispus Attucks, James Armistead, Peter Salem, Shaka Zulu. Rest in peace.
All right, the brother's definitely on one today. All right, DJ Nila, take us out. Let's do that artist industry spotlight for the week, and we'll see y'all in just a few minutes.
All right, guys, the Sankofa Paradox with Ed D and Low Key will return in a minute right after this commercial break. Today, unfortunately, we don't have an indie spotlight, but we will have a new feature next week. Friendly reminder to any artists, performers, producers to send in your submissions to atlundergroundmse@gmail.com to be added to our playlist and rotation. For today's show, it's only right we keep the revolutionary energy going with the classic Arrested Development track, Revolution, from the soundtrack to our fellow Morehouse brother Spike Lee's movie Malcolm X. We'll be checking that out right after our official intermission song, I'm in the Box by Lyrical Preacher. Stay tuned and keep it locked right here on ATL Underground Radio.
Yo, LMR, ISO. It's for all my people in the boxes. You know, those who scared to step outside the comfort zone. This one's for you. Let go. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. Swaggy, swaggy, swag. Swaggy. I'm a swagaholic. Swag. I got so much swag, I could make a swag profit. Gucci on my body. Gucci. Louis on my bag. Louis. You love this crappy music, so I gotta pop them tags. Cash out. Pork chop ballin'. Ballin'. Call it balls hog. Oink. I get so much money, call it women, female dogs. When I'm in the club, all the people lose control. I'm crazy. And that's because I sold the music industry my soul. Sold out. They said to take my talent and put it in a box, so I'll never make enough money to afford a pair of socks. No clothes. So here I am flexing, cause I sacrificed my dignity and sealed away my vision just to make it in the industry. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. I sold my own mama for this fame. You I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. Okay, hold up. I really think I need to address this. Yep. It's funny what a person will do for a gold chain or a diamond necklace. Really? 70% of the time, it's not even about the money. They just want attention. And they're willing to sacrifice their integrity and originality for an honorable mention. Let me hit you with a question. Are you really that pressed for the fame? That you're willing to limit your talents and gifts to skate your way into the game? That's a one-hit wonder. 15 minutes lost of your artistic focus. I mean, can you even imagine me dumbing down my rhyme just to get noticed? Pay attention. Turn up. All I do is turn up. I turn up so much I might as well eat a bag of turnips. Hey. You wanna know what's sad? What? I bet you like that line. It made no sense at all, but I bet you got crunk off that line. Yeah, you can have that. I'ma stay right here with my gift and my talent. If you really wanna make moves, you gotta step out the box and achieve that balance. Go left field, stand out. Go against the grain to get free. Cause last time I checked, hopping on a bandwagon does not define who you wanna be. Nah, bro, fuck that. I'm too scared to be myself. I'ma stay in my box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. If you're tired of fitting in, let me hear you say I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. If you'd rather be yourself, let me hear you say I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. If you don't wanna be something you're not, let me hear you say I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. And if you're ready to break the mold, let me hear you say I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still lights of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
Welcome back, ATL. Welcome back. Listen, you just got your brain pounded, and I know you had a lot to take in on that one. We weren't even expecting that. That just straight from the roots of the ancestors, through the soul, out the mouth of the brother that we call Low Key. So. Yeah, straight out his third eye. His third eye is resting right now. But we gonna hit you with final thoughts. We're gonna get on out of here. And again, before we end, and I appreciate everybody that listens to us, that checks us out on Sundays at 5:30 or 5:30 ish. We definitely appreciate that. I'm gonna toss it back to Dr. Funkenstein for your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is just this. It should right now we got a whole thought process where it's about me. Me, mine. Not about we. Fred Hampton lived and died for his people. We all should be concerned about the we. We shouldn't be like, nah, I can't rock with them because they're gay. They got a problem too. We can unite with them and deal with all our problems together. See, this was the genius about those dynamic men and women in the Panther Party. Don't look down upon the kids in the gangs and say that they're menace to societies. Take that unbridled rage that the youth have and direct it. Help them learn to love themselves and help them to let's protect our community, because that's what Fred Hampton was doing. He took the Black Stones and he was trying to unite them under the banner of the Panthers, and the police had a whole program out there. The FBI had a whole program out there where they were dedicated to stopping that. Such to a point of where they sent a letter to the Black Stones leader saying that the Panthers put out a hit on you, sir, hoping that he would retaliate against Hampton. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is power in unity, power unparalleled. Do not believe the first thing that you hear. Research on your own. Read on your own. Use your third eye to see, so you can read between the lines and see the truth that they don't want you to become.
Check it out. My final thought is for the United States government. Let's get it together, people. We have got to get back to some kind of dignity and rational thinking and rational acting and just rational period. Right now, I would take status quo Bush presidency over what we have right now. It is ridiculous. I mean, you absolutely we've got too many things on the list of American concerns right now for us to still, or for people to still be worried about whether Donald John Trump is a viable candidate for 2021, folk. We still got a pandemic we're dealing about. We still got jobs we got to create. We still got businesses we need to help. We still got people getting evicted by greedy landlords and landowners and whatever that we got to stop. We have so many things that we need to be concerned about helping people and putting people in a better spot. And we got people running around hooting, howling about stop the steal. We've got to do better. I want my United States government to get back to prominence. I want us to stop being the laughing stock of the friggin' country. I want us to realize that hate and racism is not a part of government. Hate and racism is not one of your constituents. Politicians, governors, senators, congressmen. That's not a constituent. We've got men and women out here who need and who are looking for their government for leadership and guidance and protection. They actually do believe in their slice of American pie, but you burning it with hatred and with racism and, with padding your pockets and boosting your resume versus actually helping out your constituents. Now, I'm different. I know what American politics is about. It's about padding your pockets and boosting your resume. But while you doing that, throw us some crumbs, folks. Throw us one. Give us one every now and again. You know what? I'm not gonna make this 500,000 this week. I'm gonna do something for some people. I'll get it on the back end later on. I mean, give us one every now and again. We have got to repair the infrastructure that is our United States government. We have got to repair people's belief and trust in the United States government. We got to stop all these lies. We got to stop all of this cancel culture. We got to stop all of this, tell a lie until people start believing it. As you see, it could be very dangerous to do so. Now, I got 2 quick points on my final thought. All of you, it's the same as the flu people. What do you think now? This is a new year. So are we going to lose 500,000 people to the flu again this year? Since, COVID and the flu is the same thing, freak out of here. And my second thing is to all of you people who still feel like, an election was stolen from a chump president who wasn't supposed to be president anyway. You better do your research and figure out who really runs this country. Because if he was supposed to be president, he would probably still be the president. But it's just a testament to not pissing off the wrong people. So, America, let's friggin' get it together.
I am a revolutionary. I am a revolutionary. I live for my people. I pray for my people. I die for my people. I'm high off my people. I love the people. I'm here to help the people. I want to make sure the people have the things they need. I want to make sure the people have the life that they should live. I want to make sure the people have freedom. I want to make sure the people and their children have food in their bellies. I want to make sure they have a roof over their head. I want to make sure they have adequate education. I want to make sure that they have adequate protection. I want to make sure they have adequate health care. I love for the people. I'm high off the people. I won't die on a plane. I won't die on a train. I won't die in a car accident. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die for the people. I'm a revolutionary. So are you. We out.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the Sankofa Paradox with Ed D and Low Key on ATL Underground Radio. We are live every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a playback of today's episode available Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. So be sure to tell a friend and check us out at majorsmartentllc.com. You can also download the free app on Google Play and the Apple Store by typing in ATL Underground in the search bar. Got a topic you'd like to hear us touch on? Shoot us an email at majorsmartent@gmail.com with your suggestions. We're going to close out differently for the last day of Black History Month. But everyone listening right now, I want you to understand. Learning about our history, learning about our people, don't let it end just with the month of February. Continue to do your research, do your due diligence, and be the revolutionary that we need. It's only right that we end this broadcast off with a piece by Gil Scott Heron. You just heard The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. I would like you to kick back, relax, and enjoy Pardon Our Analysis, also known as We Beg Your Pardon. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hi. We'd like to do an idea for you that was related to the H2O GATE Watergate Blues. In March of 1973, we wrote the Watergate Blues, and some 17 months later, then President Nixon resigned. But the story didn't end there, and so we didn't stop there. We have prepared a sequel, and it's called We Beg Your Pardon, America. We beg your pardon because the pardon you gave this time was not yours to give. They call it due process, and some people are overdue. We beg your pardon, America. Somebody said, brother man gonna break a window, gonna steal a hubcap, gonna smoke a joint, brother man gonna go to jail. The man who tried to steal America is not in jail. Get caught with a nickel bag, brother man. Get caught with a nickel bag, sister lady, on your way to get your hair fixed. You'll do Big Ben, and Big Ben is time, but a man who tried to fix America will not do time. Said they're gonna slap his wrist, gonna retire him with $850,000, and America was shocked. America leads the world in shocks. Unfortunately, America does not lead the world in deciphering the cause of shock. $850,000, they said, and the people protested, so they said, all right, we'll give him $200,000. Everybody said, okay, that's better. I'd like to retire with $200,000 someday. San Quentin, not San Clemente. Do not pass go, go directly to jail. Do not collect $200,000. We beg your pardon, America. We beg your pardon because somehow the pardon did not sit correctly. What were the causes for this pardon? Well, now they had flea bite us, rats bite us, no pardon in the ghetto. They had national security. But do you feel secure with a man who tried to steal America back on the streets again? What are the results of this pardon, though? Because remember, when there's causes, there's results, and the results is always deeper still. We now have Oatmeal Man. Anytime you find someone in the middle, anytime you find someone who is tepid, anytime you find someone who is lukewarm, anytime you find someone who has been in Congress for 25 years and no one ever heard of him, you've got Oatmeal Man. Oatmeal Man straddling uncomfortably yards and feet of barbed wire. It's hard to live in the middle all the time. Oatmeal Man, the man who said you could fit all of his black friends in the trunk of his car and still have room for the Republican elephant. Oatmeal Man. But there was no crime committed. Oatmeal Man says that America, in 1975, your president will be a 1913 Ford. Regressive. Circle up the wagons to defend yourself from nuclear attack. Oatmeal Man. Reminiscent of 1964's AUH2O Goldwater. Thank God he didn't win, but Oatmeal Man didn't win. Did you vote for him? I didn't vote for him. But that's the first result. And the second would be the Dread Rockefeller. Doubtlessly being promoted for the job he did at Attica. 43 dead and millions of Americans once again in shock. doubtlessly being promoted for the job he did on the streets of New York City, where the pushers sell the drugs that the government allows in the country, and then they do time. They do life and death, or life and death behind bars, while William Saxby says he's going to dismiss the Lord and Furlough program. And Brother Richard X of Buffalo, New York faces 1,365, did he say 1,365 years behind bars for participating in Attica. And Rockefeller faces being the vice president of this country, and all is calm and quiet along the white sands at San Clemente. We beg your pardon, America. We beg your pardon once again, because we found out that 7 out of every 10 black men behind jail, and most of the men behind jail are black. 7 out of every 10 black men never went to the 9th grade, didn't have $50 and hadn't had $100 for a month when they went to jail. So the poor and the ignorant go to jail while the rich go to San Clemente. We beg your pardon, America, because we understand now much more deeply than we understood before. But we don't want to take the pardon back. We want to issue some more. Pardon Brother Frank Willis, the Watergate security guard. He was only doing his job. Pardon H. Rap Brown. It was only burglary. Pardon Robert Vesco, it was only embezzlement. Pardon Charles Manson, it was only mass murder. And pardon us while we get sick. Because they pardoned William Calley, 22 dead, and America in shock. And we understand all the more deeply, and we beg your pardon, as unemployment spirals towards 7%, and it seems like 70% in my neighborhood. As unemployment spirals, and as we watch cattlemen on TV shoot cows in the head and kick them in the graves while millions are starving in the Sahel and the Honduras and maybe even next door. We understand all the more deeply as Boston becomes Birmingham, becomes Little Rock, becomes Selma, becomes Philadelphia, Mississippi, becomes yesterday all over again. We understand and we beg your pardon. We beg your pardon, America, because we have an understanding of karma. What goes around comes around. And we beg your pardon for all of the lives and all of the people who've been ruined and who look forward to next year because they cannot stand to look at this one. We beg your pardon, America, because the pardon you gave this time was not yours to give. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.